Hello everybody and welcome to another YouTube video. So in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about what it is like to work at AlgoExpert. Now, for any of you that are not aware, I currently work at AlgoExpert as an algorithms instructor. AlgoExpert is a platform that you can use to prepare for your software engineering coding interviews. And well, the founder of that platform, one of the co-founders, is actually one of my close friends, and his name is Clement. So I've been working at AlgoExpert for about 4 or 5 months maybe, and I just wanted to make this video to talk to you about what it's like to work in this kind of startup environment and for this company that I'm sure many of you know. Now, with that said, if you guys know me and you watch this channel, you know that I like to have very structured videos. So in this video specifically, I'm going to talk about the work that I do at AlgoExpert, kind of the hours and the flexibility that I have, and then finally what it's like to be in kind of a startup environment and a startup company. AlgoExpert is very small. It has probably like 6 to 8 employees, something like that. So very much a startup company. Now, with that said, if you don't know what AlgoExpert is, then don't worry, because they are the sponsor of this video. So you're about to hear all about them. Before we get started, I need to thank the sponsor of this video, which is AlgoExpert. AlgoExpert is the best platform to use when preparing for your software engineering coding interviews, as the highest quality coding interview practice questions. With over 115 practice questions, detailed solutions in 9 of the most popular programming languages, a feature-packed browser-based coding environment, extensive test suites, and conceptual overviews and code walkthroughs for each and every problem, AlgoExpert is the best resource to use to ace your coding interviews. AlgoExpert also has a data structures crash course, coding interview assessments, and a brand new mock interviews feature. I can highly recommend AlgoExpert as a former customer myself and now an official instructor on the platform. Get started using AlgoExpert today by hitting the link in the description and using the code TechWithTim for a discount on the platform. All right, so now that we all understand what AlgoExpert is, I can tell you what I do there. So first of all, my boss at AlgoExpert, the one that I report to, is Clement. He is one of the co-founders. You guys have probably seen him on this channel before, and I'll leave a link to his YouTube channel in the description. But we've known each other for a while, a little bit over a year now. And if you actually want the story of how I got a job at AlgoExpert, I will leave a link to that video. I made that probably 4 or 5 months ago when I just started working there. So anyways, he's my boss, and what I do on a day-to-day is I come up with coding interview questions. So my, formal job title is algorithms instructor, and pretty much what that means is come up with coding interview practice questions, write all of the detailed information related to that, so the prompt, the test cases, the hints, the space and time complexity, and all of the other stuff that's involved. Obviously, write out the solutions for those questions. I write all of those in Python first, and then I'll transcribe them into other programming languages that are on AlgoExpert. And then once that is done, I will take all of that code that I've written, I will push that up to the GitHub repository that we will have. It will get a review from Clement or some of the other guys that work there. And then once that is all good to go and I respond to any feedback, I film a video. So every single question on AlgoExpert has a conceptual overview and a code walkthrough, so kind of 2 separate parts. The first part, the conceptual overview, is very much just kind of drawing in whiteboard style. So I have this iPad here that I use to actually kind of do all of the illustrations and diagrams and all of that. And then I hop into my code editor and I do the code walkthrough. So I spend a few hours filming that. It actually takes a really long time to film these videos because they need to be absolutely perfect. So even just small stutters or small mistakes that I make, I have to kind of refilm that section and, cut stuff out and edit the video. Once that is done though, I edit the entire video and then I submit that to Clement or to whoever is going to be looking at it at AlgoExpert. Then they give me a review for the video. They say, yes, this is good to go, or we need some feedback, or we have some feedback and there's some revisions that we need. Then once all of that is done, we get the video and the question ready to go into production. And I'm not really involved in that side. That's kind of in the main code base. They do all of that. So I don't really know what's involved in getting the question into production. But that is kind of what I do at AlgoExpert. So not terribly exciting, but it is really cool to kind of be finding these different coding interview questions because I have to come up with the question that I'm actually going to do, right? I have to pick the questions myself and then, figuring out how to solve them, all of the neat tricks, doing some research on my own. And this is kind of great because this means if I ever did want to go work at a big tech company or something like that, I would have a ton of experience because I have literally been creating practice questions for coding interviews. So that is kind of my day-to-day. Now I'm going to jump over and kind of talk about my hours and the flexibility and when I'm actually working for AlgoExpert, because as you guys know, I have this YouTube channel here. This takes a ton of time while I'm doing that as well as working for AlgoExpert. All right, so let me kind of talk about my hours and the flexibility and when I'm actually doing work for AlgoExpert, because it is definitely not like your standard job. This is not a 9 to 5. I don't have to like clock in or clock out. There's nothing like that going on. I can work literally whenever I want. And one of the reasons I actually took this job is because it is so extremely flexible. There is very few deadlines, and the deadlines that do exist are extremely lenient. And well, I can just work whenever I want. So if I'm really busy on YouTube for a week, I can do nothing for AlgoExpert. I don't even have to look at the Slack group chat that we have there. So we do have a Slack chat where everyone kind of communicates. I don't even have to look at that. I don't have to answer messages. That's totally fine. I just do whatever I want, whenever I want. So that is the reason why I'm actually working for AlgoExpert, because it's super flexible. And oftentimes I'm working at AlgoExpert questions at say 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 1 in the morning. I just do them whenever I feel like doing a question. So that is kind of the great thing about this job. And another thing to note is that every single person that works for AlgoExpert is working remotely. So they don't have an office. We just have this Slack group chat, which in my opinion kind of acts as the office. There's all these channels and stuff that we talk in. And there's people in all different types of time zones. So I'm in Eastern Standard Time. I believe Clement's in Mountain Standard Time. There's some people in other states in the US, and we're kind of all over the place. So it's neat. It's very interesting having everyone work remotely. And AlgoExpert is a very small team, right? So there's only like probably 6, 7, maybe 8 employees. I don't know the entire structure, but the people I've talked to, at least there's like 7 or 8 of them. And so to wrap up this section on kind of the hours and the flexibility, I'll just say that this works absolutely perfect for me. You know, sometimes I don't go to bed till 3 in the morning. I don't wake up till noon or 1 p.m. or whatever. And it's great to just be able to do whatever I want, whenever I want to do it. Now, obviously, you guys know I'm working very hard. I'm doing a lot of stuff, but it's nice to have that flexibility where if I want to just grind AlgoExpert questions on, you know, Saturday and Sunday, and then I want to, you know, go do my YouTube channel for the rest of the week, I can totally do that. And the AlgoExpert team is really funny because everyone is pretty much a night owl. Now, I didn't really used to be a night owl before I started working there, but literally everyone is online, at least in Eastern Standard Time, from the hours of like, let's say 8 p.m. to like 4 in the morning. So it's just really a unique working environment, and it's not something that you would ever have working for, you know, like a big corporation or not kind of a startup company. So this kind of leads me nicely into what it's like to work for a startup company. So if you guys have been following me for a while, then you would know that the first big tech company that I worked at, or the first job I had that was related to programming and software engineering, was at Microsoft. Now, I think that company has like 120,000 employees or 140,000 employees or something crazy like that. So obviously a massive company. And in that company, I have no idea what, I don't even know, you know, the senior management team. I'm talking to like the 10th level of manager down, you know, the hierarchy of things. So it's just a very different environment, because here I'm talking to, you know, the founders of the company, which I'm not trying to make that sound super special. It's just interesting because you get a really good look at what's actually going on. You can see all of the new features that are being released. You kind of see the direction that the company is moving in, and it just makes you feel so much more immersed and kind of engaged in what you're doing. It's way more exciting for me personally to be working for a company like AlgoExpert, where the work that I'm doing is genuinely changing the product, shaping what it looks like, and changing maybe even the future of the company. Whereas when I'm working at a company like Microsoft, you know, I'm just another guy in the corporate office and very disposable. You know, I could be gone tomorrow and no one would even know. So it's just a very different environment. It's just really engaging and really exciting. And at least for this company here, everyone that's working here is just young, energetic, like they're all under 30, I'm pretty sure. And it's just cool to be around a lot of people that are in a very similar field to me. Clement is a YouTuber, Nick is a YouTuber, and so I have a lot of similarities and stuff in common with them. And it's just fun, you know, at 1 in the morning, you know, you're grinding out an AlgoExpert question and making jokes in the Slack channel and just all kind of stuff like that. So that is kind of my experience working for AlgoExpert and this startup company. I wish there was more that I could say, but I just wanted to kind of express how different it is to work for a company that's fairly new, that doesn't have very many employees, and that's moving extremely quickly compared to a very bureaucratic, you know, large organization. Now, there's pros and cons from both, obviously, but right now I can honestly say that I am definitely enjoying working at AlgoExpert. Honestly, a lot of the time it doesn't even really feel like work what I'm doing, because I genuinely do enjoy, you know, teaching and writing out these algorithmic style questions. And for me, I'm learning a ton and I'm getting way better myself at doing these types of coding interviews because, well, I'm teaching them almost every single day. So anyways, that was the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions about AlgoExpert, please do leave them in the comments. I will try to respond. With that said, if you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in another YouTube video.